everlasting. When two souls combine, spines intertwine and hold on to time until it's everlasting. When toes curl and fingers lock, when the hands on the clock tick and tock, when jaws lock, when fingernails leave imprints and back sheets are wet, I bet walls turn into corridors. Echoes sing and raindrops ping against the window pane. The only sounds are soft moans of your name, pain into pleasure, secret endeavors, and nobody can tell me the time. Because when time stops by, it's just you and I. It's a matter of fact thing. I'm Love Jonesin. I'll see you there.
Good evening, everyone. This is your girl, Brittany, aka Lady Poetry, coming to you for another installment of Poetic, so Artistry. I'm really excited about tonight because we have an amazing poet. I know I always say like we have an amazing, but like legit, every poet that we've had on is amazing in their own right, just super duper talented. And tonight is definitely not going to be any different. But before we get into the talent and the guests that we have tonight, just a few things just to remember. This show, as well as ATL Mix, is every Friday on Ellie Radio Live. And you can find out about that on our social media site, which is coffeetalk.com. Please go to coffeetalk.com, go ahead and set up a profile, everything. It's a new social media site that's Black owned. Which is important. It's always important to just basically support the community. So sign in, you'll get a free profile. You'll be able to post everything. There's no such thing as well, it's not Facebook, so it'll be Coffee Talk Jail. Like there's none of that. You can come, speak your mind, do whatever it is that you please, because that's the vibe that we want on our side. So you have the social media site. Again, is coffeetalk.com. So definitely stay tuned for that. Also, too, we have all these shows that come up every weekend. So starting off on tonight, on Friday nights, we have ATL Mix that started earlier at 9 p.m. Hopefully, you should have definitely tuned in because it was a crazy conversation about cheating and different things, which is really eye opening to some people. Then you have Poetic, so Artistry, which is tonight. And then tomorrow, generally on Saturdays, we have what is known as the Hood Healer, the Hood Doctor herself, Random Acts of Healing. Ami Brown, she'll be back on with us and we'll be streaming some of her. She usually is on Saturdays at noon. And then on Sunday, we have Coffee Talk Radio, which this weekend is going to be an excellent show. I'm really super duper excited about it. Like, you'll just have to tune in. It's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you'll have to tune in for that. So without any further ado, we're going to get into our show for tonight. So we have the amazing Miss Alani Renee. She is, can I say, like a Jill of all trades? Like, you know how you have a jack of all trades? She is a Jill of all trades. When I say this woman does any and everything, she got what you need. Like, anything you need, she's got it. But tonight, she's going to be sharing some of her amazing poetry. She might even spit a little something new for us tonight. So just to kind of introduce her a little bit, basically, she's been about 20 years in the entertainment game, like doing her thing. She originally started back in 2001, actually with the Punani Poets and Jessica, and she toured around and was with them until 2012. After that, she left and started writing and toured for different theater productions, which actually garnered her an Image Award in 2018 and a nomination for the Tampa Bay, I believe it's a theater festival. So when I say homegirl is talented in all realms, like front of the camera, behind the camera, beside the camera, like everywhere. So I'm really excited to have her on tonight. So she's going to come through and spend some time with us. And we're just going to have her come on now. Hey, good evening.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm mad excited to be here. I'm ready.
Right. Right. I've been thinking about it all day. I was like, yes, it's Friday. I get to
I'm
relax. I get to kiki about poetry. I love it.
ready. Got my drink. I'm ready.
So kind of, I know I didn't give your intro enough justice because
You
literally
did.
all day about the amazing stuff that you do. But for those who may be blind somewhere and don't know who you are, can you give us a little bit of your bio?
I don't think I could have explained it any better than you did. I'm a Jill of all trades. I love that. I'm putting it on a sweatshirt next week. But I do a little bit of everything because I come from a background of everything, right? So, as you stated, I started with the Punani Poets. I was mad young, 19 maybe. And I didn't even know. I love to write, but I love to write stories. At that time, I had no concept of what poetry was. You know what it is, but I didn't know that it was something that I had. I just wrote because I wrote. I just wrote everything down. It used to get me in so much trouble as a kid because I just tell myself writing everything down. But I met Jessica, and I moved out to California. I met Jessica, and I just was gravitating to all of the artistry that was in Oakland at the time. That was like for me the beginning of like the indie world, and
Yes.
I was like, oh, I'm so intrigued by all of this. So I just jumped head in. I started working in the office at Punani, just doing administrative stuff. And then I was like, well, wait, like I'm into this too. And so I kind of pushed my way onto the stage and rode that all the way till I couldn't ride it anymore. I had my son in 2012, which made, when you have children, make you slow down. I don't know if you got any, but if you don't, keep on pressing, sister. I had to slow down, but I didn't want to lose, what I was doing. So I started to write plays. And I wrote a couple of plays for, a couple of different people, wrote one for myself, and it caught fire. Like we just started touring it. Crazy enough, it was a Christian murder mystery, which is just all the way left, right?
Right. Christian murder mystery.
All the way left. Like, who does that? How do you even do that? So, but it caught fire, and we toured it for a really long time. Did the Tampa Bay Theater Festival, won a Gospel Image Award for the play, and which, catapulted me into like starting to write for other people. So I started to write theater for other artists, and then I got into film. This year I wrote an anime series. So it just kind of spiraled into all of these things. Was let you know, right, that you never know where your gift is going to take you. You might think you're meant to do like this one thing, and then you end up way over here.
Right.
But in the midst of that, to keep the story going, because it could be a really long story. In the midst of that, as an artist, sometimes you fall on real hard times. So you got to figure out how you're going to make some money outside of your gift. So my background is in law, and I've done real estate, criminal, civil, family, and corporate, right? So when things got hard, I was like, I got to figure out a way to make my other gifts work for me too. So I started helping creatives turn their creative things into a real business. So I started being able to teach creatives how to make money from their passion, get a paycheck from their passion, which started my coaching business, which I still run, which is the Creative Catalyst. So all of those things rolled and balled up into one, and you have to use as Ronnie said in the Players Club, you got to use what you got to get what you want,
Exactly.
So I just, it just gels together. And that's why I love to tell people, don't allow what you think you're good at to stop what you're great at.
Right. Absolutely. And that's definitely important because, like you said, the thing about being a creative person or just a talented person, individual, it can take you so many different places.
Mhm.
Like, you're not just stuck in one place unless you allow yourself to be,
Right.
because you
And
can
that's
take it
most
anywhere.
of the time, sis, it's because we're scared.
Hmm.
It isn't even like the capability that you have or don't have, or the resources that you have or don't have. It's
Right.
really because you're scared of what you can accomplish.
Exactly. And you shouldn't be, because those are your gifts. They're designed uniquely for you. Nobody can do whatever it is you do like you.
Like you do. Exactly.
So it's important to do that, because I mean, even myself, I'm nowhere near the caliber of people like Queen Sheba and Shihan and all of these, but my gifts have taken me overseas and performed in different ways. And it's like, if you are afraid to kind of push through, you're never going to get anywhere. So
Right.
yes, definitely. And I think your story is a testament to that, to go from, you just liked it. So you just moved, then you was like, I like this poetry, so I'm gonna start with
I'm
it.
gonna do this.
You went on it for 11 years doing something that you love, and then you were
Right.
able to just flip the script and still still get to do entertainment, writing plays and everything. Like, I'm just now in my writing process. Like, I've done what I can with stories and poetry, and I still love doing that. But even myself, like, I've actually started into the screenwriting thing just to get my hands wet in that, to see, okay, well, what does this look like? And
Right.
different things. So I think it's important people try. Just try it.
I
If you like
agree.
it, you like it. If you fail, you fail. All right, try
Yeah.
something
But
else.
and here's the thing, even in failing, you don't fail because it's something that you took away from it, right? It's something that you learned. It's a new skill set that you learned, or somebody that you met that can take you to the next. Like, you don't ever know. That's why, like, it irks me to hear people say, well, I don't have, or I don't know how. Like, first of all, I don't know how is a cop out in 2024.
It
Okay,
is.
because there's YouTube and there's Facebook
Mhm.
and there's Snapchat and there's social media and there's TikTok. I have learned so much off of TikTok.
Yeah. Yes, TikTok has taught everybody things.
Okay.
Like, yes.
So, at this point in the game and where we are in society right now, especially this upcoming generation, and I'm lucky to be in the generation that started with MySpace and ended up in
Yes.
TikTok.
Yes.
So,
Yes, I remember MySpace.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, there has been a humongous transition in my generation. I'm about to be 40 in December. And it's like, to see how far technology has come from me graduating high school to watching my son go to high school, right?
Right.
It's like, oh my God, there's so much free information out here.
Absolutely.
There's absolutely no excuse for you not to chase whatever it is you want. It's crazy.
None. Like, my grandfather used to say, you don't know because you don't want to know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because I told you, like we were talking before, with that military background, if you don't know, you need to figure it out and quick. So
Quick, and don't cry about it. Don't you dare cry about it.
no, not at all. So I'm definitely, thank you so much for saying that, because I definitely feel like a lot of people need to hear that. So to kind of get into the poetry a little bit. So I know you said you got some pieces for us. So do you mind if we listen to one now, and then we can get back into it?
Sure.
Okay. Absolutely. The floor is yours.
Okay, so this one is called Warm Oil on My Skin. I know, super long title, but just feel me out, okay? So you feel like warm oil on my skin, daily devotions and liquid sin. You masturbate my thoughts with intriguing verbal touch and fuck my mental slow then rough, and I love that shit. Like the smell of lavender and rain, you massage my brain, ease such pain, and leave me open to gain every sense of you. like honeydew, sweet to the taste and soft to the touch and similar to the other fruits, but the outcast of the bunch, you leave me breathless. Like suffocation in a high wind, mind spent, your daily bread. You turn my pages and leave me unread, awaiting the climax to story's end. And you, sir, are my favorite book. With every look, I spy something fly, and the I in we is simply beautiful. Like purple flowers in a field of tulips, you stand out to me. You beckon me to your spirit and leave me open and unrepentant. And I could give you my heart with full inhibitions and living life carelessly, hoping in the distance that in another lifetime I'd be yours and you be mine. But at this time, you just be my person. Twirling in my emotions like a freshly sun-soaked curtain in the wind, hanging on clotheslines of the homie lover friend, you remind me of a time when I was free, when being me came with no locks and no keys, when seeing embodied my free. Dumb to think that the universe would allow me to completely be engulfed in you, let my shackles fall along with my bra and my thong and let you enter me. With such passion, fruit soaked in lust, wrapped in trust and thrust into my pelvis, leaving my body soaked in us. Damn, you, sir, feel like warm oil on my skin. Daily devotions and liquid sin. You masturbate my thoughts with intriguing verbal touch and fuck my mental slow then rough. And I love that shit. I love that shit.
Yes. Poetry snaps. Yes, you know what? It's so amazing because like your style of writing is similar to my own with that we give you just enough to make it very suggestive,
Right.
but not all the way. Like I'm not gonna give you everything, I'm gonna give you a little. Yeah, just so I know you're paying attention.
Yes. And here's the thing, like for new poets, people who are just starting out writing or feel like, they haven't caught their cadence. Cadence is really important.
Absolutely.
Like you can write a dope poem and get up on a stage and perform it and sound like the dry eyes guy and you're getting nobody's attention, right?
Yes. Oh
I mean,
my God.
your poem can be mean, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't have that, it's a certain cadence that you have to have when you're spitting poetry, and developing your own cadence is what makes you stand out from the rest. And I can honestly say Jessica taught me about cadence.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that from her.
It's definitely important. Like you said, that presentation. See, me, when I started, I'm a musician. So I started as a musician and then navigated into poetry. And a lot of people ask me, they're like, when you perform, it's almost like it's a rhythm to it. I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to. So yes, I'm so glad that you said that, because a lot of people look at me strange when I say, like, no, there has to be a cadence to it.
Has to be.
Because that's how you feel it. Like that's how you can feel it. Oh, I'm so excited. Love it. I mean, you don't understand. Like I love everything that it is poetry. Like for real, we're best friends in my head now.
Yeah,
like
we're already there. We've already connected on so many levels.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about your experiences that you had with the Punani Poets, because that was a long time.
Yeah,
to be traveling to go from administrative to on stage. So how was that process for you?
Oh my God. So you know how like you want something so bad. I feel like my story is kind of like, I don't even hate to compare myself. I feel like Kanye West, because I feel like, you're always fighting for that chance. Like, no, I can do more. I can do this. Just give me the opportunity. Please, please, please. And I think I got on her and Yolanda's nerves so bad. They was like, okay, we're going to put you in one show and you better kill it. And I was like, okay. And I just did my thing. And I think, just like with anything, even a regular job in artistry and poetry, anything, you have to be vetted and you have to prove your worth, right? And you have to keep growing. And so it was a learning process for me, not only as an artist, but as a woman. Because Punani is not one of those things where you can really be shy about sexuality, right? So being young as I was, coming from a pretty Christian household, your first thought is like, what are people going to think?
Right.
And you start to, either you could go two ways. You can start to dumb yourself down, right? And not express yourself and learn who you are as a person or as a woman. Or you can go with the flow and say, hey, I'm here. I might as well experience everything and get everything I can get out of this. People are going to think what they want to think. They're going to say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, is it a part of your journey to get you to where you want to go? And so that is what I learned from Punani. I learned that it's okay to be whoever it is I'm becoming.
Absolutely.
Because nobody else has to live in my skin but me. And I really think that had a major impact on my life because it made me unafraid to be the type of woman that I wanted to be. And that made me unafraid to leap into things that maybe other people would be like, oh God, oh, that's too much. So not only that, the life journey of it, but learning, like I said, the cadence of how to write a poem, how to deliver a poem, how to suck the audience into what you're saying and leave them kind of like on the edge of their seat. Like, is that it? I learned those things from the artists that were in Punani over the years. And I saw so many. Because it's broad. It's not like, oh, there's 5 poets that are Punani. Like, there are Punani poets all over the world. And so you get to meet different people with different backgrounds and different cadences and the different writing styles. And you kind of pick a little bit of that up from everybody to create your own style. So I love that. But I also love the fact that I was able to meet so many people from different backgrounds, from all over the world. They've experienced different things, which helps me when I'm writing for film or theater, because I can draw from that inspiration. So it was a lot to consume, but I had a long period of time to do so. So I'm grateful. I'm really grateful.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And then you touched on something that's really good as far as like learning from others to kind of build your own voice. And I think Punani, definitely embodies when you mentioned something about sexuality and your womanhood, because it is, to me, Punani has always felt like to me like a celebration of the woman, of the female form, the body, like the essence of what it is to be a woman. So to be so young and to be involved in that, you basically were able to explore what you define as your sexuality in a safe space.
In a safe space. And that's the important. I'm so glad that you said that, because when people hear the word Punani, they immediately jump to like porn, triple X. Like they don't understand what Punani was about. It was super educational, even though it was very erotic, but there was a lot that you learned in those shows about life in general, relationships, protecting yourself, how to protect yourself. When you're young, you're 19, 20, you're like, hey, I'm on the road, and those people on those shows would pull me right up. Where are you going? Sit down. No, it was a family, really. It wasn't even like, I don't really know what people conceive when they hear the word Punani, but I can only assume if you're not aware. But for those of us that were in it and lived it and worked in it, we understood that we were a family unit. We protected each other. We learned, we grew, and there was doors that were open for me that they would be like, no, you're not ready for that.
Right.
Sit down.
Sit down. And we actually have Jessica. She commented. She said that you definitely brought the Southern appeal. So definitely. But so for that piece that you just shared with us, what was the inspiration? A lot of people had commented while you were doing your piece. They really liked, like one person put my person. And that part actually stuck out for me as well when you said my person. Inspired that one.
So I believe that you fall into relationships and sometimes along that path, you find that person. Like, it might not be the person that you were meant to be with. It may be the person you were meant to be with, but it's just a person that you connect to, or that you have a tie with, and it may not be aligned in the moment. It may not be right for the time. It may not be what you needed to be right then, but that person is fulfilling something in you, right? It may be just that emotional connection. It could be a physical connection. And I just write based off of not always my own experience, but like, I got a whole bunch of single homegirls.
Yeah.
They probably gonna kill me right now, but I got a whole bunch of single homegirls, and they're always like pouring their emotions to me. And I use that as inspiration when I write anything. Like, when I write stories, film, theater, plays, poetry, it's not always me speaking from personal experience as it is so much speaking from experiences of those around me. Now, I have some pieces that are legit off of my own emotional feelings, but that specific piece was inspired by actually my husband, because he probably gonna kill me for saying this, but even when you've been married for a really long time, sometimes people grow apart and you long for that person that you once knew. And so in those times when you're not the perfect vision of what a marriage could be, you feel lonely, and you miss the person that you connected to. So that piece was for him. He's like, wow. Now he gonna be like, write me another piece.
Right, exactly. Absolutely.
Right.
That was amazing. So yeah, so usually every time when I go through, I always ask people, like, what type of poet are you? Because you know how they have the type of poets where you got the really, conscious, prolific, you got the one that's yelling, you know what I'm saying? You got the super erotic, nasty poet, you got the new poet that's like reading everything. So, the poet for the people, you got all of that.
Yeah.
So what if you had to put yourself in the category, what type of poet do you believe you are?
Well, I don't think I could put myself in a box. Most of my poetry is intimate. I won't even say erotic. Like, based off of the poem that I just read, I wouldn't even call that erotic. I would just call it intimate. So I'm more of an intimate poet, I guess, if I had to put myself in a box. But I write whatever I'm feeling. So not everything is sexually oriented, but most of my stuff is intimate. So I guess I would have to say I'm the couples poet.
Oh, the couples poet. I like that. Yeah, you should definitely market that. I'm a couples poet. Like,
write that
down. Right, because like on Valentine's this year, like I did this thing where I sold poetry for couples. So if they were having a little date, and I would log in via Zoom and I would spit some poetry for them while they're doing their thing over. So you should definitely do that. That was my first time doing that. And I got so many orders that I actually do all of the ones that I needed to. But because it's you have similar styles, I think that would be a definite another stream of income for you.
I love that. And I'm going to get with you because I have a concept that I've been working on. We might be able to.
Yeah, of course. So we have Kat Bates has commented. She said that you are the best. Hands down, she's followed you for years and there is no other like you. And then she says, sensual, tell it like it is, what you feel is what you can write. So she wanted to comment on it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Kat Bates.
So let's get into another piece. Do you have another one for us?
I do have another piece. Let's see. This piece is called In the Morning, but spelled MOURNING, morning.
Mm-hmm.
Today I mourned you. I let the teardrops fall between the creases of my lips and wipe them away with my fingertips glossed with wet paint. Tainted with my thoughts of you, your stature, your tone, the thoughts of hearing you moan at my touch, the way my hair swayed in the wind on our trip to Never Never Land. I wore my black dress and let the thick of my hips squeeze tight with sorrow and joy. I believe that you are in a better place, that her embrace will comfort you, allow you to explore the depths of your soul and remain in elegance as you always do. My heart beats fast. Fasting on the desires of my heart, I place flowers where the peace of you remains and allow the pain to pierce my veins, internal bleeding. Hot flashes. I can't believe you're gone. Home to a place that awaits to embrace you, where your sun shines and her light is there to awaken you. I believe in reincarnation, that in another life, you and I would kiss the sky and make love in the wind of our fantasies. We'd hold hands and share secrets and engulf in just being together. You, sir, you're my person. Dispelling disbelief. The grief that I carry today, I bury because I know that even though you're gone, your presence remains. And the stain lands in the corridors of my brains, awaiting days when you look up and see me. Not the image portrayed, but the engaged sense of play that intrigues you. She deserves all of you. And I, for now, will be comforted with old hymns, humming sounds from my belly when I day trip with downtown memory lanes, when the blinds are closed and shut in the dark room, through the sounds of my moans whispers your name. Today I mourned you, but in the morning I'll be okay.
Yes. Again, I love it. I love it. So again, that my person part definitely stuck out to me again. But he, I like the ride. So that's another thing from the last poem and this one that I noticed, that you are extremely descriptive, and you arrange your words in a way where I have no choice but to go along whatever ride you take me on, and be able to visualize everything. So I really really like that, and I love that one too, because it kind of hit a little deep.
It hit me. That hurts a little bit.
Thinking about some things, I was like, damn,
Yeah, ouch. Yeah.
right, so what kind of inspired that one?
So, have you ever really, really, really liked somebody and they're just not yours to have?
Mm-hmm.
That's been it. That poem was inspired by that. Just having a place for someone that they can't fulfill and you can't fulfill for them. So you have to let that die. You have to let it go. You have to move on and move into something new, because whatever it is that you have between the two of you, it can't be. It's not real.
Right.
So that piece was inspired by, letting go.
I feel like after that probably was a big major weight in healing, because just thinking about that, because I've been in situations where somebody that wasn't mine, and they didn't have any, but like it was just one of those things where I gotta let you go.
I gotta let you go.
And, like, that is something made me feel like, okay, well, maybe there is, light at the end of the tunnel.
And there is, because when I learned to let go, I found my husband.
Yay!
So
yes,
there's like, you have to let go of things. And it's okay to hold on to the memory of things that serve you. Like understanding and having gone through that type of hurt and pain it allows me to be more appreciative of the love that I have. Right? Because I know what it feels like to love and hurt, but now I can love and have. And that full circle of life it makes it worth it.
Absolutely. Yes, that was very good. I like that. So we can kind of merge into the theater aspect of it, because you're Image Award winner, so you gotta flex that. So what made you transition from poetry to theater?
Well, it wasn't okay. So you know how they say things are born out of necessity.
Mm-hmm.
this was a true birth out of necessity, right? Because my son was born in 2012, which means I think the last Punani show I did, I was maybe 3 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
I think that was my last one. If Jessica, if you're still on the line, you remember that. That was my last one. And when you slow down and the money not coming in like it was coming in, and you got to go get a real job, and I was like, I'm not fit for no real job. I don't want to do this. I don't want to clock, time punch in on nobody's clock. I was like, I got to figure out something to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote, at the time I had, you go on these spiritual journeys, right, in life, and you go back to your roots, you're trying to find your way. So I was going back to church pretty heavily. They had just started a art, like an arts department at the church. And they were looking for writers. And I was like, I need to write. Right. So I joined the arts department and I wrote a play called Unveiled. And it was the story of 10 women in the Bible turned modern day.
Oh, okay.
People loved it. And I was like, great, people loved it. What am I going to do with it outside of these 4 walls? So I took it to a couple other different churches and venues, and then I got this idea to write a poem called Bad Manners at the Dinner Table. So I started writing this poem called Bad Manners at the Dinner Table, and it got so long that I was like, I can never remember this to recite this. So this is entirely too long. And so I started just kind of writing a storyline for it, not even meaning to turn it into a play. It just had gotten so long that there was nothing else I could do with it.
Right.
So I put that on at a church and it caught fire. Like, I had no intention of touring churches or anything like that. Like, it just took off. And it's the story of a first lady who's not quite first lady material. Okay. And she uses 7 people in her church to do her dirty deeds. And these seven people in the church equate to the 7 deadly sins.
Got it.
So you get to meet each one of them, and I made it like super interactive with the crowd. So you get to meet each character, but it's a murder mystery because throughout the play, the first lady dies at the dinner table. And so it's up to the audience to figure out which sin killed her. And then there's this crazy plot at the end. But anyway, it started off as a poem that turned into a really long script. And I started touring it in the churches, and then people started requesting it outside of the church. Small theaters, dinner theater projects, and things like that started requesting it. So we ended up traveling. Man, I had a cast of 16, a crew of 6, I think. We were probably about 25 deep touring and making pretty good money because at this point we weren't paying to use the venues. People were paying us to come.
Right.
And someone nominated the play for Best Play of the Year for the Gospel Image Awards, and we won. We were not.
Wow.
I was not expecting that, but it happened. So that's really how the theater progressed into what it did. And then after I won the award, I started getting more clients asking, can you write this for me? Can you write that for me? And it just kind of went from there.
Oh, nice. That's exciting. Like, to kind of be able to transition over. And it definitely is like overnight with stuff.
So it looks overnight. And it feels like such a short period of time, but man, if you get like from 2012 to, I think we just stopped touring Bad Manners at the Dinner Table in, it's maybe been a year. So that it ran for so long, and it seems like, overnight success, but it looks that way once it gets to that certain level. And that's another thing that poets need to understand, like, I know everybody's a poet, right? And then you start off and you're being vetted. And I think we talked about this earlier where, you know, you're doing free open mic nights and you're just trying to get in where you fit in and you're trying to get, you know, on the shows and things like that. But again, you don't know where that's going to take you. So you don't put yourself in a box. 1, 2, let your gift lead you to your destiny.
Right.
And understand that your journey is not going to be like anybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
That's so important.
Absolutely. Because like you said, all it takes is that one time for that one particular poem on that one particular night at that one particular slam or event that'll just kind of open all these doors for you to just keep going.
Exactly.
I'm excited about that. So I guess we have some more time definitely for another piece. I know you said something about you had a couple pieces and then you might, you know, premiere something. So, you know, whatever you feel like doing, we will definitely.
Well, let's see. The warm oil on my skin, nobody had heard before, and neither had anyone ever heard in the morning. So those are 2 new ones that I dropped for y'all tonight. And
nice, okay. I'm all about exclusives.
Okay, I had to do that. Listen, when Jay called, you do exclusive, okay? So this one is called In the Meantime, and this is one of my favorites. And I will let anybody that's watching know that it is very intimate. So if you're not ready to handle it, just kind of
you can say whatever it is. Okay. Your mind here, we cuss, we do all of that. So whatever you got to say, it is what it is.
Okay, so this one is called In the Meantime. I once heard someone say that when time stops by, it stands still long enough for you to bask in its ambiance, but I beg to differ. Late nights staring at a clock that keeps on ticking, never relieving me of the anxiety that comes along with waiting for your phone call. So in the meantime, I'll press my thoughts of you up against my inner wall so that I can feel your heartbeat from within. I'll keep my moans at a soft whisper so that you can hear me call your name, just to dig a little deeper and reach a little steeper and feel a little pleasure with my pain. But this puddle of rain that I leave for you to bathe in sits in vain, and the stain that is left behind leaves imprints on my soul. For without you, I have no control. So in the meantime, I'll open my legs and spread them wide as though they were my arms awaiting your embrace. I'll keep the expressions on my face to a minimum, trying to remember that I am alone with my thoughts of you. I'll keep my index and my middle finger pressed so tightly together as though to emulate the strength of your strong tongue. I'll keep the arch in my back so tight that you feel as though it's a bridge that leads you along the path from my hymen to my heart, queefing, to let the air out of the flat tire of my heart that only your 10-inch air hose can fill. And when you are complete, I lay still, awakening to the reality that this is not real and you're still not here with me. So in the meantime, I'll accompany my loneliness with smooth R&B hits, a couple of bottles of Smirnoff Twist and a rhyme. Maybe the 3 of us can turn back time to rewind intimate memories of the mind when we turn making love into fucking. And now the thought of you is sucking the life from my spirit, and I allow it to because I love fucking you. So in the meantime, I guess I'll just call you later when time stops by.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. See, I love your silent writing. It is so dope. I love it because I'm like, man, I need to take some classes to prepare. Like, man, when you got a workshop going?
Maybe I need to add workshops into my repertoire. I don't know.
Hey, I've actually gotten quite a few requests to do a writing workshop here in Atlanta, Georgia. So we may have to talk, and I might have to have you come down here.
Absolutely, I would absolutely love to.
Yes, definitely. So, so basically, I want to kind of introduce and like let people know where they can follow you.
Okay.
So what I want to do, I'm going to play your the commercial again for your events, and then once the commercial goes off, then I want you to tell everybody how they can get in contact with you and see you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's cue up the commercial.
It's a matter of fact thing. When two souls combine, spines intertwine and hold on to time until it's everlasting. When toes curl and fingers lock, when the hands on the clock tick and tock, when jaws lock, when fingernails leave imprints and back sheets are wet, I bet walls turn into corridors. Echoes sing and raindrops ping against the window pane. The only sounds are soft moans of your name, pain into pleasure, secret endeavors, and nobody can tell me the time. Because when time stops by, it's just you and I. It's a matter of fact thing. I'm Love Johnson. I'll see you there.
Yes, I love that commercial.
Yeah,
So
cool.
please tell everybody where they can find you and what are some of your upcoming events or shows that you have.
So you can find me at my website, which is alanireneenicole.com. My email is info.creativecatalyst@gmail.com. It's really long, but you guys, just hang in there. You can find me on Facebook at Alani Renee Nicole, or you can find me at Alani Renee Nicole, the Creative Catalyst. You can find me there on Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. I'm kind of picky about my Snapchat, though, so you might just want to hit me on Instagram. My upcoming event is called Love Jones, and it is a marriage of poetry and art where we each first Friday of the month do a poetry and art show where we integrate different types of art each theme. So this upcoming show is going to be on March the 5th. It's in Gastonia, North Carolina at Shet's Venue. You can find any information you need to know about that event at bellaandivy.com. I'm Bella. My business partner is Ivy, bellaandivy.com. Tickets are available there. This month's theme is body paint and poetry. So it's going to be very sensual, very artistic, and we're going to have a live band and DJ and drinks and music, and it's all going to be popping and fun, but also educational and art. So you guys, if you want to check that out, please visit bellaandivy.com to get your tickets. As far as on the coaching end, I am taking new creative clients. So if you guys are interested, you can visit my website at alanireneenicole.com and see what it is that you need to do to up jump, turning your passion into a paycheck.
Absolutely. Awesome. So since you just mentioned it really quickly, like can you talk a little bit about the creative coaching, the creative catalyst part?
Yes. So basically what I do is I teach everything that I learned in corporate America to artists so that they can learn how to properly develop their art and turn it into money, make it profit. So we start with the basics on branding and learning what the culture of your art is and how you want to sell it and market it to people. We walk you through your website and getting your LLC or incorporation, how that's done, getting your EIN, setting up your bank account, even all the way through to nonprofits. A lot of artists want to open up nonprofits. So we have skill sets for all of those. And I offer it in 3 tiers. So you can do tier 1, which is just the coaching where we get together once a month and we build a strategy for where you want to go and what you want to see in quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the year. Right. And then we work through that. We talk through that strategy. That's the consulting. Tier 2 is consulting and training, which means I start to give you resources and show you the how, right? And not just tell you the why. And then tier 3 is coaching, training, and fulfillment, which means, okay, you got your strategy now, you have your resources and tools, but you're still having trouble with maybe building your website or branding your company or creating new products or learning how to make residual income from your gift. Then we work through fulfillment, and my team will do some of those things for you.
Absolutely.
So it's leveled.
Right. So to get all of those, definitely make sure you follow this amazing woman to take advantage of that. Because it's funny how the universe works. I'm a very spiritual person, and I had stopped for a while with my creative stuff, touring and everything. So it's been a couple years since I've been on the road, and I'm finding myself in this rebranding stage, and a lot of other artists that I know are also in this rebranding stage. So I've been meeting a lot of people that are just don't know where to go, what to do, how to rebrand,
Exactly.
what websites they need to be on, everything. So this sounds like an amazing opportunity for
Yeah.
somebody to just kind of get focused.
And it allows me to be creative in other avenues, right? That I'm not creative in. I have artists from theater to film to acting to people who make body butters to people who make t-shirts. Like, it's crazy the amount of people and how creative people got in COVID.
Right.
So, and I have a team of experts that teach you my team is amazing. That we walk you all the way through your taxes, honey. So
Right.
I have an amazing team. Shout out to Team Creative Catalyst who are out there participating in the live and watching tonight. I love y'all. But yeah, it's a great program, and I'm not just saying that because I created it. I'm saying that because I've seen people go from I don't know to, girl, I cleared $1,500 last week, or I cleared 10 G's this quarter. So I know that the strategy works, and it's not really a strategy of art. It's just a strategy. A lot of people fail because they don't have a plan. That's all a strategy is a plan, and I'm great at planning, so that works. And just meshing it all together with my creative art and then my corporate and legal background, it just made a perfect pot.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So you can find all of this information at her individual, as well as you can always go to our social media site, coffeetalk.com, where you'll be able to see her lovely face, my lovely face, everybody with the team and everything like that, so you can get it together. So definitely remember to go to coffeetalk.com. You can also download the app in the Google Play Store. And remember to always follow IG on Coffee Talk Social or LE Radio Live. So if you don't mind, I would like to, could you take us out with like one other little piece or something else that you can kind of think of?
So before we got on this live, I was just writing a piece and I didn't even finish it. I just started writing a piece.
Oh, it could be a cliffhanger.
Yeah, so I'll give y'all a little bit of that. I haven't even titled it yet. So it says, it ain't what it used to be. The excitement between you and me, it's fading. The long telephone conversations, the wishing and the waiting, the self-soothing through masturbating has given me a false sense of reality. That something could actually be between you and me, but it ain't what it used to be. The craving that thrust me into daily fantasies, daydreams, and crushed dreams that you be the person I wanted you to be, that somewhere in the stars would align and it would stop instead of passing us by, that you see that the way that I envision you, I'd be your heartbeat, but it ain't what it used to be.
Yes.
I'm getting there. I don't know where it's going. Yes. I don't know where it's going.
I can see it though. I can see it. So, dang, that is so awesome. So at the end, I usually just ask for what is like some advice that you can give to somebody, regardless of whatever stage they are in their craft. Like, what is something that like maybe you learned either from the Punani poets or anywhere else that you would impart to someone?
Your art and your gift, they aren't for you. They're for somebody else. That gift that you have, somebody is waiting to hear, waiting to see, waiting to experience, to take them to the next level, to where they're supposed to go. Every gift that we've been given by God or the universe or whoever it is that you believe in, it wasn't given to you for you. It's not for you. So you be selfish not to indulge in what you've been given to help the next person, help the next person, help the next person.
Yeah. Awesome. That's amazing advice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming through tonight because I was, like I said, all week I've been just anticipating this show and I was like, this is going to be amazing. I really got it. Like the energy was high and you came in and, of course, knocked everybody out with your amazing talents and everything else. This is the Jill of all trades.
I'm
So
using that, like legit. I'm taking that from you.
you should. Please do, because everybody always talks about jack of all trades. They doing all that. I'm like, but we women. Like I'm not jack. So I'm like, yes, Jill of all trades right there. So
I love it. And thank you so much for the opportunity to be on your show. I hope that you'll have me back. And I can't wait to get you down here.
I'm actually going to look at my schedule and be like, okay, so noon's the next first Friday that I can make it down to, make a weekend of it, come and enjoy. I'm going to have you down here in Atlanta. So hopefully on one of these, when you come back, you'll actually be here. So we can do kind of like a wordplay session, cipher and everything. So definitely, I think that would be really dope. But thank you again so much for coming to spend time with us.
Absolutely. Anytime. God bless.
Absolutely. You have a good night. Thank you, everybody, for coming in for tonight and experiencing the Poetic Soul Artistry. Again, do not forget to stop by the social media site at coffeetalk.com and get you signed up. Like I said, you'll be able to see myself, the whole Holter Intellectual Property Inc. team will be on there. Join and follow us on IG at Coffee Talk Social. Of course, again, coffeetalk.com. And then also download the app in the Google Play Store. And also stay tuned for there's a dating site coming through. I can't wait until that opens as well. The dating site is going to be coming through. We have so much more to offer you. Again, come back on Fridays for Poetic Soul Artistry. We'll be back again, and thank you again. Have a good night.